pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could we have a roll call of members?
Dr. Malloy,
Here.
Mr. Mignon,
Here.
Mr. Hoff, Mr. Greenwood, Mrs. Irwin Adams, Mr. Johnston, Mr. Francis, Mrs. McGinnis, Mr. Cook.
Okay, I'd like to announce that prior to this meeting, we had an executive session to discuss legal and personnel issues, as well as an informational meeting about the retention wall behind the intramural field. Okay, D, we have a motion to amend the agenda under 9 business operations to include I, repair the stone walls surrounding the Altoona Area High School intramural field. The administration requests and recommends approval to take the following action to repair the stone wall surrounding the Altoona Area High School intramural field. The action is being taken as a result of the stone collapsing and occurring on or around July 26, 2023. The motion would authorize the district solicitor to contact, investigate ownership of the wall with the city of Altoona with the intent of negotiating cost responsibility and or cost sharing for repair. 2, cancel the acoustical cloud contract with J.C. Orr. This will provide approximately $130,000 to be used toward repair expenses. 3, add an addendum to the 2018 bond refunding project to allow for a cash out option to be used toward repair expenses. 4, contract with an engineer to determine the necessary actions for repair with the cost not to exceed $45,000. And 5, advertise a request for proposal for construction based on engineering drawings and specifications. Okay, and we would need a motion to amend the agenda with what I just read.
So moved.
Is there a second? Ron seconds. Discussion? Okay, any public comment before voting? Okay, any discussion by the board? Okay. Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Okay. 2, we have special presentation.
Tonight, we want to recognize the recent certification accomplishment of Mrs. Susan Franks. Mrs. Franks, Director of Business Operation, was recently granted status as a Pennsylvania Certified School Business Official by the Board of Directors of the Pennsylvania Association of School Business Officials. In order to be granted the professional registration status, she has met high personal, ethical, and professional standards, which include formal education, school business experience, and continued education. So tonight we want to take an opportunity to congratulate Mrs. Franks. Can you come here?
Okay. Next, we have hearing from citizens. Do we have anybody wishing to address the board? Okay, hearing none. Item 4, we have the approval of the special board meeting minutes from June 5th, 2023. B, the approval of the committee of the whole minutes from June 5th, 2023. C, the approval of the regular school board minutes from June 19th, 2023. Do we have a motion on those? Is there a second? Any discussion? Those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Finance, we have A, the list of payments. B, the financial reports. C, Knowlton Diagnostic. D, contracted services agreement with Steve Smith. E, contracted service agreement with Gloria Sprankle. F, the Mansion Park rental agreement with Bishop Guilfoyle. Do we have a motion on those items?
So moved.
Is there a second? Discussion?
Item D, the contract with Steve Smith. He's gonna get that set built in one day. So that is listed as a one day. It was actually for one event. Mr. Smith was contracted services for our spring musical. And that was for the total of set costs and building for that. It was an honorarium. He worked on that for quite a few hours for that project. I mean, it cost us $500 for all that. It was cost the club $500. Yes. It was a contracted services to help support the students and the other experts that were building the sets for the spring musical. Thanks.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay, item 6, we have the AASD board policy for the first reading. There are a number of policies listed there for the first reading. Do we have a motion on those items? Is there a second?
Second.
A discussion? Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Education. A, we have the 2023-24 Blair LICC interagency agreement. B, the Music Parents Association agreements, 2021, 22, and 23. C, a memorandum of understanding with Penn State Center for Childhood Obesity Research. D, contracted services agreement between the AAHS Summer Dance Camp instructor and Dominic and the school district. And a memorandum of understanding LSU School of Social Work Office of Field Education. F, we have volunteer approval. G, secondary field trips. H, use of space by child advocates of Blair County. I, Presley Ridge Johnstown addendum to agreement. J, survey permission. K, step-by-step learning agreement. L, Ignite Learning Lamp Education Solutions. M, AEDY agreement. Do we have a motion on those items? Is there a second? Is there a discussion? Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. 8, personnel agenda items under A. B, AAEA memorandum of understanding. C, vacation payout. D, the security greeter incentive. Do we have a motion on those items? Is there a second? Discussion?
Item C. Is there any way that Brad can carry those hours over to his, or those days over to his current contract? So if the board would prefer, like we could bank those vacation days. My current agreement, the contract is different from my compensation plan agreement, which would allow banking. This does not allow banking under the superintendent contract. It's 20 days per year, 10 of which can be utilized, 10 of which can be paid out on. It's at a lower rate paying out now than paying out later in terms of paying out for those banked vacation days.
Taking days though, we don't pay anything out. I mean,
Correct.
it might
It's tough to take all of those days.
it is, but you're entitled to them and take the days. Otherwise,
So at that point,
Start taking them out.
I would have 48 days for the current
yeah, I
time period.
understand.
Yeah.
but I
So
mean, just start taking them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's $14,000 and we could use the $14,000.
understand. I'm agreeable to whatever the board
I
decides.
mean, would you take the day? Like, if we would do that, would you try to take the days? Or you, or
It's
or you
very
would bank
difficult to
until-
perform the responsibilities that I have and be out that many of days. Taking 20 in a year would be difficult, let alone taking those days over a period of time. I mean, I would likely request the option to bank those days in the event that there would be an event later on that would require me to use them.
Okay.
I think this discussion has been going on even when I worked in the school district many years ago about using your vacation days. And there are positions where that becomes very difficult. And I think in Brad's situation, he's going from a Act 93 agreement position to now where he's superintendent, where he would have a contract. And his rate of pay is different. His duties are totally different. And I think it just cleans the slate with the vacation days, and he would start new with building vacation days, for this year coming up. And to me, it just creates a clean break by paying Brad for the vacation days,
And I'm
the
actually
unused ones.
the one that brought it up because what we have consistently done is when we have someone moving from one group, one type of a collective bargaining agreement group, or usually like AASD moving into an administrative assistant position, they're closed out. They don't carry over their vacation days from an AASD position over into a new compensation plan. It's paid out, and that's been past practice. And that's why I brought this up, because it wasn't really addressed specifically in his contract. There was no provision for vacation bank in his contract. And there was not really any specific approval to pay it out. That's why I brought it up.
Does a lot of the administration have that many days banked?
I have 45. It's hard.
So, I mean, I think we have to start looking at the contracts, because if people aren't going to use their vacation, we should quit giving
Well,
them so much vacation.
The policy has limited to 35 to 30 as of a certain date. And there were some of us who had over 30 at that time. So whatever our days were at that time, that's what the cap was.
Mhm.
So mine is one of the highest ones left. I think Lori's may be a little higher because at that time, but now no one is allowed to be paid out for more to be paid out at severance for more than 30 days.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, any other discussion? You want to vote on that separate, Eric?
No, we don't have to.
Okay. Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm opposed to C.
Okay. Okay, number 9, business operations. A, we have the school nutrition program. B, the sponsor to sponsor agreements. C, the cafeteria adult meal pricing. D, Amtran drivers. E, repository bids. F, the McCullough Heights facade improvements. G, the Ebner facade improvements. H, STA bus drivers. And this would be I, the motion that I just read here at the beginning of the meeting for the, regarding the retention wall. Is there a second
Second,
discussion?
item 9I, items number 4 and 5. I just think we should take our time and do it right. I think we got burned in the past. And yeah, yes, it's a danger, I guess, but I'm going to vote no on 4 and 5.
Okay. Any other discussion? And do you want to vote on that separate, Eric?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we will vote on all the items except I. So those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And do a roll call vote, please.
This is for item I. Dr. Malloy,
Yes.
Mr. Francis, Mr. Hoff, Mr. Johnston, Mr. Mignon,
Yes.
Mrs. McGinnis, Mr. Cook.
Okay. 10 under new business, we have an external request by the Altoona Police Department for use of facilities. B, a confidential settlement and general release agreement. Do we have a motion on those items? Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Okay, those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. 11, committee reports. Do we have any committee chair reports?
There's a question from facilities about the drinking fountains at Pleasant Valley Elementary School. I guess a request has been put in and to turn on the drinking fountains, I think, in the classroom. And it's been several months and they haven't been turned on. If there's the teacher was just asking a question of why her request can't be granted.
I'm going to defer to Doug on that one. I was unaware of the request. Yeah, I'm assuming it's a simple fix. These are the bubblers in the classroom. Doug, do we have a reason? Over the summer, they had summer programming? All year, okay.
Since COVID, I just.
They've never
Yeah.
been turned on since COVID. Yeah.
Correct.
They have been turned off since COVID. Whenever they went through to work on each of those, and I don't know the exact terms, Doug can certainly speak to that. But they had to remove some of the piping and some of those pieces. So then it was determined at that point that they were going to continue to work through the process and take a look at each of those and determine whether it was whether we should turn them back on or whether it was something that we should then be using the fountains in the hall. Those bubblers are quite old in some of those locations and some of those things are corroded and there are some different pieces with that. What's that? Depending, I mean, you have variation from room to room and building to building. So that was looked at and they were looking to determine whether we should turn them on or whether we should use the hall fountains for that purpose. The other piece, we have a lot of kids that are bringing in water bottles and some of the schools have actually purchased water bottles as well for the students over COVID. And they were able to fill up using the sink, which is the same water that's coming out of the bubbler as well. So that is one of the options that was being utilized in the interim as well. And certainly, Doug, if you have anything to add.
That pretty well sums up where we're at on that situation.
Doug, is that one of the buildings that we have on the timeline for water filler stations?
For bottle fillers?
Water fillers.
No, the decision was made a while ago that we have a couple of them at junior
Junior
high.
high.
We have some in this building, and we thought it best at that time not to do that throughout elementary schools. We
Okay.
thought that would be a little disruptive, perhaps.
I think if you could even prioritize like the primary grades with those little bubblers, just coming from kindergarten experience, sending, 5, 6, 7-year-olds, it's much easier to be able to just have them go to the one in the classroom rather than it is down the hall. Plus, to be honest with you, as a kindergarten teacher at the Meet the Teacher, my recommendation, if I had something in the room that they could drink from, would be save the hassle of the tipping, the falling of everything of the water bottle. So maybe we could prioritize even the primary grades to get those on. Would probably be helpful to those primary teachers.
We'll do an analysis of those, make sure that they're safe. And if they are, we'll take steps to make sure that that happens. Thank you.
We still, Doug, real quick. We still in line with the water jugs for down at the bus garage? We talked about that at a
We're going to look at getting them the individual water coolers with the replaceable, the refillable jugs. Yes.
be a good fix.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any other committee chair reports? I have no report. Superintendent's report.
I would feel remiss if I didn't take the opportunity in my first meeting just to have a few comments, so I'll try to be brief. First, would like to thank Dr. Malloy and the entire school board of directors for your support during what's been a relatively seamless transition. Want to wish Dr. Prietel, who I've been in frequent communication with, the best in his retirement of sorts. I know that he will be very busy pursuing his performance doctorate at Duquesne University. Would also like to welcome Mark Harrington to our central office team. He's hit the ground running, working with our secondary administrative team, preparing for the upcoming school year. Summer's been an extremely busy time with facility projects happening across the district, from Mansion Park to multiple elementary schools. And at the same time, summer programming welcomes students at all levels to our buildings for summer school opportunities, enrichment camps, and extended school year. Hundreds of students benefited from fun and challenging programs across the district. Staff has been very busy engaging in professional learning and curriculum development, and I know that they're anxiously awaiting the start of the new school year. We will welcome over 50 new faculty members to the school district family for the upcoming year. Those teachers will be in with us at our induction program in only 2 short weeks. Want to remind our parents that kindergarten registration is ongoing. I would like to remind our families that children turning 5 years old or on or before September 1st of 2023 are eligible to begin kindergarten. Registration is available online, or you can call our student registration office for assistance. A reminder to all parents that school nurses have been reaching out to families regarding vaccination requirements. If you have any questions regarding your child's vaccination status, please contact your school nurse sometime in the next couple of weeks. We're extremely excited for the start of the upcoming school year. Our faculty and staff look forward to working with our parents, caretakers, and students to maximize the opportunities for the children of our community. We are living in an ever-changing society that presents us with new challenges every day. Together, we can provide our children with the ability to work towards their goals and have experiences that will positively shape their lives. Areas of priority this year will include safety and security for all of our students and staff, improving student attendance, developing new avenues for community involvement and engagement, working together to strengthen our educational community, and to expand services available to students to address their social and emotional developmental needs. We encourage all of our families to take an active role in their child's education and to team with our faculty and staff to make this an outstanding school year for our students. Together, we can make this school year one to remember. Thank you again to the board for all of your assistance and support during the transitional services, and we look forward to the start of the school year. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Okay, 12 for information only. A is the new teacher induction program completion. B, the payment of college credits or June reimbursement. C, the policy committee meeting summary of July 24, 2023. Other comments? Do we have an employee unions response? Hearing none. Middle management, hearing none. Solicitor.
I'm just going to give a plug for the seminar that will be put on by the Penn State School Study Council on September 19th. Once again, it's targeted specifically heavy and hard on special education related issues. We decided to liven it up this year, brought in a parent's attorney to basically talk about what they're looking at when they represent parents and come into school districts. And that would be a good heads up to a lot of administrators, not only in the county, but for all the districts we represent. And, hopefully we'll have a good turnout. We have an independent evaluator that's going to come in and basically outline the way to prevent advocates, parents, attorneys from coming in and always asking for independent educational evaluations, how to get it right the first time around and save a lot of money in that arena. We're going to talk shortly at the end towards artificial intelligence and see how it helps in the special education arena, and literally try to figure out why it won't be a shortcut for school district administrators trying to deal with hundreds and thousands of IEPs in the course of the year, and basically best practices. And I'm going to do a school law update. It is designed to fill in the gap, because either you have to go to Lancaster, and Perry Zerkel no longer does his special ed symposium at Lehigh University. So this is a filler. And I know that Peggy Schuling is looking at, I think it's Act 48 credit, maybe CLE credit for attorneys. So that's the plug for that seminar.
And
Thank
it's
you.
being hosted the Altoona IU8.
That is correct. In town, so everybody should come.
Okay, those are all the items on the agenda. Do we have a motion for adjournment? Yes.
Like to say a few things. So I'm on the Prospect Pool Committee. I represent the school district. I'd like to take this time to thank the Rotary and the Kiwanis for your generous contribution, in teaching kids how to swim up there, the free swim lessons, for the generous donations, help support keeping Prospect Pool open. Thanks to all the members of the business community who are supporting the effort. It's been a big success so far. And this is becoming a family-friendly place to spend an afternoon. So, thanks for the school district and everybody else out there has a nice contribution. Thank you.
And Ron, thank you for everything you've done up there. I've heard great reviews, and I know you were very involved in pushing behind it. So thank you for doing that for the city and the kids.
And it's, they have some ideas for next year, so it's going, and I'm sure you know keep that secret.
Good job, Ron.
Frank, it's something I just want to ask some. Recently, a young athlete had a heart attack at a basketball trials, and LeBron James's son. And they say the reason he's alive because I had equipment and personnel right on the scene that saved his life. Do we have that type of equipment? Do we have all of our personnel CPR certified?
All of our coaches are. We also have AEDs. Yeah, that's with in the James case, an automatic defibrillator. We have those at all of our facilities, schools as well, and they are certified and trained on an annual basis.
Should we do a staff certification on CPR?
We do for a lot of our staff. We don't require it of all staff. So staff that might be in high need areas, all of our coaches are required to have CPR, but we do have certified staff in every building.
Yeah, look at the volunteers and everything else. I just think that it's so important, that they be trained in that. So
one of the benefits we have staff that are certified in training people. So we have in-house staff that are able to do that. So that can be something that we definitively look at as part of our professional learning days.
Okay. And one more thing, we're very lucky to have Camilla and Sue as our business people. So thanks, guys. Congratulations.
Okay, anything else? So do we have a motion for adjournment? Is there a second?